William of Sherwood or William Sherwood, with numerous variant spellings, was a medieval English scholastic philosopher, logician, and teacher. Little is known of his life, but he is thought to have studied in Paris, as a master at Oxford in 1252, treasurer of Lincoln from 1254 onwards, and a rector of Aylesbury. He was the author of two books which were an important influence on the development of scholastic logic: Introductions in Logicam and Syncategoremata.These are the first known works to deal in a systematic way with what is now called supposition theory, known in William's time as the logica moderna. William was probably born in Nottinghamshire between 1200 and 1210. In common with many educated Englishmen of that time, he may have studied at Oxford University of the University of Paris, or both. There are examples in his logical work which suggest he was a master at Paris. Further evidence that he lectured in Paris is that those logicians who were influenced by his work also worked there, including Peter of Spain and Lambert of Auxerre. He is thought to have become treasurer of Lincoln Cathedral sometime in the 1250s. The treasurer was one of the four principal officers of the English cathedrals whose duty was to keep the treasures of the church, the gold and silver vessels, ornaments, relics, jewels, and altar cloths. He would have had a personal residence in the cathedral close, would have employed a deputy and a large staff, and therefore could be absent as long as he performed those duties that could not be delegated. He probably died there in or before 1272. He is mentioned by Roger Bacon, also a master at Paris, as one of the more famous wise men of Christendom, one of whom is Albertus Magnus, another of whom is Master William of Sherwood, the treasurer of the Church of Lincoln in England, who is much wiser than Albert. The Introduction to Logic. William's main work is a small logic manual, Introductions in Logicam. It survives in a single manuscript, probably written in the late 13th century, headed Introductions Magistri-Gilli-Shires-Word in Logicam. It did not appear fully in print until 1937 in Grabman's Latin edition, and was not translated into English until 1966 by Kretzmann. No other works that are definitely by him have ever been printed. The book consists of 6 chapters. 5 of these are expositions of Aristotle's main logical works, as follows: 1. Statements, corresponding to interpretation. 2. The predicables, corresponding to categories. 3. Syllogism, corresponding to prior analytics. 4. Dialectical reasoning, corresponding to topics. And 6. Sophistical reasoning, corresponding to sophistical refutations. However, Chapter 5, Properties of Terms, contains material that is not in Aristotle, but is a distinctively medieval development that deals with the semantics of propositions. The theory attempts to explain how the truth of simple sentences, expressed schematically, depend on how the terms supposite or stand for certain extra-linguistic items, and tries to address the problem of sentential forms, like "I promise you a horse," which do not appear to fit the standard syllogistic forms. In this chapter, William introduces what was to become a standard division of supposition into material, formal, and personal. In material supposition, a term stands for itself, as when we say that Socrates is a name. In formal supposition, the word signifies its meaning, as in man is a species. Formal supposition is similar to what is indicated in modern philosophical logic by italicizing a common noun, as when we refer to the concept horse. Personal supposition is approximately the relation we now call satisfied by or denotes, as in the term man denotes Socrates, Aristotle, and amp c. He discusses a number of problem cases. For example, the sentence, "Every man sees a man," is true when there is a single man that every man sees. But the sentence is also true when every man sees a different man, or when some men see a single man, other men see another man, and innumerable cases in between. This is called confused supposition. This instance of the problem of multiple generality is now thought to be insoluble using the fixed schema of Aristotle's semantics. William's work spurred a development of logic in the 13th century under the general designation de proprietibus terminorum. Those who engaged in this part of logic were called the moderni, or terministae. Its most detailed treatment is found in Occam, and in the works of those who followed him. Legacy. Now, William is perhaps best known for a mnemonic poem to help students remember the names of the valid syllogistic forms. Barbara Celeron Dari Ferio Baralipton Celens Dabitis Fapesmo Frisesamorum Cesare Campustas Festino Barrico Darapti Philapton Dismus Dartisi Bocardo Ferrison. This verse might not have originated with him, but it is the oldest known surviving version. Peter Hispanus later gives an account of the verses which is more detailed, and also one which lacks mistakes in William's version. According to Kretzmann, this strongly suggests the source is a single earlier version, now lost. Latin works. Introductions in Logicam, edited by Martin Grabmann, Munich Verlag der Bayerischen Akademie der Wissenschaften, 1937. William of Sherwood, Introductions in Logicam, critical edition edited by Charles H. Law with P. Kunze and Bemisler, Traditio 39, 1983–219–99. William of Sherwood, Introductions in Logicam, ein Führung in die Logik, edited and translated in German by H. Branson C. Can Hamburg, Minor, 1995. Syncategoremata, edited by R. O'Donnell, Medieval Studies, 3, 1941–46–93. William of Sherwood, Syncategoremata, edited and translated in German by C. Can and R. Kirchhoff, Hamburg, Minor, 2012. Insolubilia, edited by Marie-Louise Roy in La Problématique des propositions insolubles du cycle et du de acute but du xive. Sua vida l'édition des traités de William Sherwood, Walter Burley et Thomas Bradwardine. Archives d'histoire doctrinale et littéraire du Moyen Age 37, 1970–205–326. English translations. William of Sherwood's Introduction to Logic, translated by Norman Kretzmann, Minneapolis, Minnesota, University of Minnesota Press, 1966. Treatise on Syncategorematic Words, translated by Norman Kretzmann, Minneapolis, Minnesota, University of Minnesota Press, 1968. Bibliography. Brewitt J.S. Preface to his edition of Fr. Ruggieri Bacon Opracitum Hactina Synodita, Vol. I. London, 1859, pp. IXLXXXIV. Edwards, K. The English Secular Cathedrals in the Middle Ages, Manchester, 1949. Neal, William and Amp. Martha Neal. Development of Logic. Kretzmann, Norman, Anthony Kenny and Amp. Jan Pinborg. Cambridge History of Later Medieval Philosophy, contains a good bibliography on p. 892. Rainer Kirchhoff, Die Syncategoremata des Wilhelm von Sherwood, Kommentierung und historische Einordnung.